So yeah, I was listening to some content at work this week, and I kind of got some inspiration. Because this is a prime off season topics right now, where you kind of got to get real creative with it. So I was
Yeah,
thinking about tiers, like ceilings and like floors. I really want to do ceilings, but we could do floors too, just for the fun of it. We got Western Conference ceilings. So I kind of want to start at the top with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody's high on the Thunder. Me being like a Maverick fan, I tried to do everything I could to hate on the Thunder and try to find I tried to find a hole. And when you really break down the roster, it's kind of hard to really find some, especially after you get like Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, and they got like a couple of
Mhm.
guys on some great contracts too. I like this team a lot, to be honest with you. My ceiling for them was the Western Conference Finals or a championship appearance.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I was. You got a year of playoff experience under your belt with young guys. Shea is coming off top three in MVP voting, averaging 30 points per game the last two seasons. They can't really sneak up on anybody anymore. They can't. They don't really have that excuse. Everybody. I'm pretty sure they're gonna game plan real tight for those guys. So, how you feel about the Thunder going into next season or ceilings?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same page. I think with that roster and that team, like they only got better. They didn't really lose anything. They made good trades, good acquisitions in the offseason. So, I mean, they coming off being a number one seed in a season where nobody really thought that was achievable for them. You know what I mean? So, I think they ceiling is definitely finals appearance. I think they got the best roster in the NBA outside of Boston. I think I like their roster a lot.
Okay.
You got a superstar. You got great defenders. You got Chet, who was just a unicorn. You
Yeah.
know, I like that roster a lot. Not to mention Jalen Williams, who is borderline all star. So yeah, for me, when it comes to the Western Conference, I think they are the favorites to get to the championship, and I think they got the second best roster in the league. So yeah, ceiling is definitely as high as it can get for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like you take what your weaknesses are and you just fill them in one off season. I think that's pretty impressive. They got one of the best general managers over there in Sam Presti. They just really a well oiled machine. You got your superstar, you got your secondary pieces and like Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. They
Yeah.
got some real cornerstones over there, and they got everybody else to fill out the roster, like the Carusos, the Lou Dortz, the Isaiah Hartenstein. I think they're gonna be a juggernaut in the Western Conference. Now it's time to get in bias mode. We got the Mavericks next. I actually have the same ceiling. I got the same ceiling, Western Conference Finals or championship appearance. You got the Clay piece. We kind of want to see what Clay looks like. I don't know if he'll be coming off the bench. Me personally, I assume that he'll be starting. I know it was some rumblings as to what is if he'll be starting or coming off the bench, but that's yet to be seen. We got a year of experience in guys like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. And Derek Lively is the one player where I feel like if we could really have a leap in this game, and he already impressed from me from game one in San Antonio. He impressed me so much. So if he could really like add like a little offense to his game, I feel like the sky's the limit for us. Kyrie had a great year. Luka had a great year. It's a lot of it's a lot of chemistry that still remains. A lot of continuity still remains, and we're growing off that too. So I hope that we can have another. We could build off what we did last year, even though we fell short of our goals. To y'all juggernaut of a team in the Eastern Conference, I feel like Western Conference Finals or championship. How you feel?
I'm almost on the same page. I'm hesitant to say they can get back to the championship, and the only reason I'm gonna say they can is just because normally, like when superstar players get that experience of like getting to the finals, they kind of push even harder, like going forward. So with Luka finally getting over that hump and getting to those finals, he might unlock a whole nother level to his game. You know, obviously you got Kyrie coming back, who is your running mate, your other All NBA type player. I like Lively a lot on the defensive end. I think he's gonna be able to anchor him down.
Mhm.
Clay, like you said, that's a toss up. We got to see which Clay we're gonna get if he still got it. I wouldn't expect him to do much on defense, but that shooting is definitely gonna help because we saw in that finals they just went cold from three. But I think overall, I do like the roster. They got some good ancillary pieces like Exum, who showed up, had some big games in the playoffs. Just different guys who can pop up and do some things. PJ Washington, he had a great postseason run. So I think I will say finals, but I'm a little hesitant just because I feel like some of the other teams got better, and I feel like the Mavericks made like a small like incremental jump in getting better with Clay, and so that's why. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna stick with finals, but the West is once again it's gonna be a gauntlet. It's gonna be tough. Too many good teams, and so they can't take for granted getting there that one time. They got to be ready to defend that Western Conference crown because it's a lot of teams out there gunning.
Yeah, that's why I said it's time. It was time for me to get in bias mode. I definitely feel like we could be everybody kind of penciling us in like as the top 4 seed in the West next year. And as a Maverick fan, you can't help but feel good about that. But like with the Clay, I feel like if we could get like, I don't know what version of Clay we will get, but I'm thinking like if we could just get like, that 40%, 38 to 40% from three, like 18 points a game. We don't need Clay to score 22 points a game. That's not what we need. And I know Clay he's the two-way player that he used to be a while back when he was like super elite splash bros, like in their prime. But if we could just get a guy that just hit open shots, be competent on defense to help out, because like Luka and Kyrie is really more so about effort with those two rather than skill. I know Clay is a skilled defender still. I believe he has something left in the tank, so I can't wait to see how Jason Kidd utilizes him. Next we got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now I'm all in on Anthony Edwards for this next season. I feel like Adam Silver, he may not be doing it, but I kind of feel like he's just giving him the car keys in terms of like, okay, like we kind of need you to take over this league. Even though you're in a small market, I feel like he's taking advantage of being in that Minnesota market, because the casual fan has to know who Anthony Edwards is by now. And I'm a big believer in that Olympic growth you take from gaining all that experience playing with like LeBron, KD, Steph Curry. You kind of see how they performed at the brightest lights. You take that experience and you take it into the next season. This team is definitely his. They got a 37-year-old Mike Conley. Even though I do like his role on the offense, he kind of calms everything down, being that experienced point guard. They got Cat, almost 30, is who he is. They got Rudy Gobert, who was actually extension eligible. I don't know how that's going to play out, to be honest with you. I don't know. This could be the last year of Cat and Gobert in the front court. Who knows? Rob Dillingham, we all like him. He'll be coming off the bench. Jaden McDaniels, Nas Reed. I like this squad. I really do. I feel like it's going to be a dogfight, especially at that hierarchy. Those top 4 to 5 seeds in the West. I know this is going to be a recurring thing for me, but I got them Western Conference Finals or chip. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. I just think a lot of these teams have the same potential as far as where they can end up at the end of the season.
Yeah. I think for me, I got them finishing like either 3 or 4 seed. I think they ceiling is actually, I think Western Conference. I don't see them getting to the finals, but I think Western Conference Finals is
for sure
definitely achievable. Like you said, Rod Dillingham, that's instant offense off the bench. So I think he's gonna come in and really assert himself in the NBA. Edwards, the Olympic experience, and then just the hunger. We've seen him play. We've seen like what he's about. He's a little outlandish and can say some wild things at times, but on the court, he's a dog. And, he stayed consistent. He stayed healthy all NBA season. So he just needs his running mates to do the same thing. We can't have Gobert getting hurt. We can't have Cat getting hurt again, even if it's for like a couple weeks stretch. Because like you got to play out for a couple weeks. You'll see you can go from 2 to 6 in the West, and you don't want to be down there in the below the 4 and not have that home court advantage. So I think they gotta figure out what's next, because like I don't think they're gonna stick with Gobert. I think they're gonna stick with Edwards and Cat, and you got to see who else you can get to come in to complement those guys, because at times that offense gets too stagnant having Cat and Gobert out there. I mean, obviously defensively it's nice to have them, but on offense they can get a little stagnant. Now I think that's why even though they had the number 1 defense in the league, their offense was kind of, I think, in that 15 to 20 range. When you get into like the NBA Finals and like big playoff series, you got to have better offense than that. And so they struggle to score at times, and I think that's the reason why. So until they make a move and bring somebody in that's a little bit more like rangy. I mean, Cat is rangy, but Gobert is just he's a cone out there on offense. He can't really do much besides catch a lob. So I think once they figure that out, they can probably push to the finals. But for now, I'm gonna stick with that Western Conference Finals.
I think my finals bit with them was more so if Anthony Edwards, I don't know how many leaps he has left to take, but I'm thinking like if he can make another leap in this game, like another significant leap on some like maybe 29 points per game type of stuff, he could just kind of bandage whatever flaws they do have just to get them over the hump. Because if I'm not mistaken, they said they was like gassed by the time they got to the Western Conference Finals. So, and he had a long summer too. So I don't know how that'll. And he's still super young though. You prevails all overall a lot of the times because you got the energy to outplay everybody. But if he could take like another significant leap in this game, what is he 20? What is he 24?
I think he just turned 20. Was it 23 or 24? He just turned like during the Olympics.
Yeah, something like that. So I feel like he has a lot of growth left in this game. So
Just turned 23.
just
23.
okay, 23, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Next is the Denver Nuggets. This will actually be my last team with Western Conference Finals or championship. With this team, it was kind of a little different though, because once Nikola Jokic is available, so I feel like as long as he's there and he's healthy, I feel like you kind of got to go all in just because of the talent that he is. Um, it is some concerns with this team though. Them not willing to pay Kentavious Caldwell Pope, even though like the last few days, I kind of talk myself into the aspect of them losing him is a big deal. I don't know if it'll be a destination killer by them just losing that piece alone. You do bring in Russell Westbrook. I don't know where I'm at on that move as of right now. That could change. I got to see kind of how that goes during the season. Michael Malone has to rely on some young guys like, the Christian Browns of the world. He kind of got to plug those guys in the field at holes of Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who is like one of those two-way guys. He can defend and he can hit the corner three pretty good. I actually like KCP. I think he'll be a good piece for Orlando. Jamal Murray, he actually signed his extension not too long ago. Yeah. He got like $200 million. He hasn't really looked too great at the down the stretch of this season and even in the Olympics. Michael Porter Jr. is another guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Michael Porter Jr. The thing is, I think I had high hopes for him coming out of Missouri. Maybe that was just me. I feel like he was more of like a high-end type of player. I think the way this team is constructed, it just kind of fits his game a little well. I don't know if he could just be like the standalone guy or number 2 option on the championship team, and Aaron Gordon is eligible for extension. So maybe this team may not look the same in a year or two. I don't know. But as for next season, I got Western Conference Championship or finals appearance. What you thinking, bro?
Yeah, for the Nuggets, to me, they're the clear cut like 1 or 2 team in the Western Conference. Them and OKC for me. Western Conference champs, like getting to the NBA Finals is definitely like in their horizon. So that's why I got their seal on that. You mentioned MPJ. Like I think a lot of people coming out of college, before the back injury, he was projected to be the top pick. Like he was supposed to be that dude. So, yeah, he kind of hasn't really lived up to that type of potential in the NBA, but still a serviceable player, really good, pretty streaky. Obviously, we've seen the playoffs, but I think he fits well with that team. It's just in those big moments he got to come through. When you got Jokic on your team, you always got a shot. So that's why I love the Russell Westbrook pickup. Like I said from the beginning, like I really like that pickup because you're not going to be dependent on Russ to really like be the number 1 guy handling the ball. Like you got Jokic still, that's who the offense is going to run through. And Russ is still athletic enough to get past guys, to go up for backdoor cuts and things. Like he's still active and can move around without the ball. And I think he's gonna be forced to do that in Minnesota or in Denver. So I see him fitting in pretty well with Jokic. Murray, hopefully he gets a little bit more healthy. He seems kind of gimpish with that knee. I think he should have probably sat out the Olympics just because he had a long season and he hasn't had the best injury history. So, but I get it. That's the Olympics every 4 years. You don't want to miss that. Aaron Gordon, I think he's a staple on this team. He'll be there. He's just too versatile to really move on from. KCP, I was always saying, like, I felt like he had a down year. I think he was expendable. Braun, I can see Braun filling in his position pretty. If he gets the minutes, I can see him taking that spot and like them not missing a beat. I just think they need one more guy that can kind of give you maybe like a consistent like 15 to 17 on a given night. So I'm thinking if they can have Russ be that guy, I really like that team's chances. Like not only getting to the finals, actually winning the finals, because they like Jokic is a matchup nightmare for the Celtics if they see them in the finals, and I can see that series going either way. So yeah, for me, their ceiling is definitely NBA Finals possible champions. So
the thing about the Nuggets is I kind of want to like challenge you on that Russell Westbrook statement because I'm looking at the fit from like a 3-point aspect. I know you said like the backdoor cuts. I do understand that, but like when everybody clears out and Jokic is like at the top of the key, like how would that play out if and when Jokic has to get a ball to Westbrook for like a corner 3, and like they are already one of the like worst teams as far as like the amount of threes that they do take, and they got what is Russell Westbrook, the most high volume worst 3-point shooter in NBA history or something like that. So like
yeah.
how does that fit go in like your mind?
Well, I think there's already gonna be a conversation of like, I don't think they're gonna be wanting him to take as many threes. So I think they're gonna still base their offense around Jokic. And even still, like Jokic doesn't do a ton of his assists off of the 3-pointers. I mean, obviously he gets some to MPJ and Gordon in those corners, but a lot of his assists are just kind of like pick and roll with him and Murray doing different things and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be more so what they use for with Russ, because Russ still handle the ball and they'll be pretty good to pick and roll. It's just kind of getting him to buy in to like not being that primary ball handler, and which I'm assuming happened before they even signed him to get over there. So I think it's gonna be a different look on the offense. I wouldn't expect him to shoot, more than 2 to 3 3-pointers a game, especially if his percentages aren't going to go up earlier in the season. You're probably not going to want him shooting them at all. So I think they got ways around it, and they can kind of hide that deficiency in Russ's game to keep him on the court and benefit from having that athleticism and that grit and that heart out there on the court. I think it's going to kind of outweigh the terrible 3-point shooting.
Even though I'm high on this team, I feel like they can also have a horrible season too, because if the Russell Westbrook fit if it just doesn't work out from a basketball standpoint, and if Jamal Murray isn't as healthy, and I think it was Zach Lowe said just kind of be patient because Jamal Murray is known to have like slow starts to the season. I guess we may have to wait like to around the December range to kind of really see where his game is. I kind of feel like if a lot of those things don't line up, this could be a season where it may be a wasted Nikola Jokic season, because I think this is the season where he finally turns 30. So I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Yeah, they definitely gotta get it done, just because obviously they don't have a ton of flexibility when it comes to like their cap space now with the Murray trade. So
yeah.
if it's looking kind of shaky come December, January, you got to kind of figure out, like, is there a free agent out there we can get, or do we got to make a move for maybe like a Zach LaVine, or what can we do to kind of get back in the mix? Because like I said, you don't want to fall too far behind the standings, and you don't want to waste Nikola Jokic's prime. So they're gonna have to figure that out if it is a slow start.
This is my hear me out moment. So when I was writing in my notes, I got to Memphis, and I started thinking, everybody is coming back this season. This is the quote unquote Ja Morant redemption season. You draft Zach Edey, Marcus Smart is there. I'm pretty sure he ready to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Vince Williams. I think Gigi Jackson is out, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That I'm not sure. But he had some good games though. He was really good.
All right, so hear me out. I think it's possible. It's a world where they can get to the Western Conference Finals. I just feel like if they fully healthy, they got great defenders, they got 3-point shooting, they got the superstar. Zach Edey, he's like 80% from the free throw line. He can rebound, offensive rebound. I feel like that's a luxury. I really feel like it's a world where they can get to the Western Conference Finals, and I feel like I don't want to say they're too Ja dependent, but they need a healthy season of Ja, like no distractions, all health, all-star appearance, just everybody just stay clean, keep your nose clean, just stay out the way and just focus on basketball. I really feel like they could come across some matchups that they could give people a lot of problems. They got the big front court in Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. They got 2 former defensive player of the year winners on their team. I feel like it's enough experience here, and they got the star power in Ja Morant to be able to, I wouldn't say upset somebody, but really like pull off a nice playoff run.
Yeah. For me, I looked it up. Gigi Jackson, he'll be reevaluated in 3 months. He had a foot injury. So yeah, 3 months he'll be out at least. But I'm not gonna say Western Conference Finals, but I will say I'm pretty confident they won't miss the playoffs again. I'll say that.
For sure.
I can see them, kind of in that 6, 5, 6, 7 seed range, somewhere around there, making the playoffs. I can see them maybe getting past the first round, and then after that, I don't know about, like, with my top 4 in the West, I can't really see them. I can see them giving them a challenge just because I do expect them to be pretty good defensively, but I just got to see how they play during the season. Obviously, you want Ja to return to his All-NBA status. Desmond Bain, you got some shooters over there with Desmond Bain. Smart is a streaky shooter. Brandon Clark is a really good player on both ends of the court. Jaren Jackson Jr. can shoot it, and he's an elite defender. So they got some pieces. I love the Edey pick up in the draft. I thought he kind of fell further than he should have. So I'd be curious to see how and if they use him like in the lineup, and how he performs in the NBA. Luke Kennard, they got he can shoot the ball when he gets hot. He's kind of one of the best shooters in the league. So yeah, I want to see how they do. Like it's tough because obviously Ja had the suspension and then he just had the injury, so he's missed a lot of time. So you want to see how he works himself back into the game. But when he's on top of his shit, he's one of the arguably top 5 best point guards in it, and he's a potential face of the league before everything happens. So yeah, I would like to see them get back to form and kind of. We saw them push the Lakers that last healthy year, and they kind of had that good playoff run. So I want to see them get back to that. But if I had to say right now, I would say they're still in it's like a first round, get past the first round, second round exit. So
Okay.
hey, I'll be happy to be wrong about that because I'm a Memphis Grizzlies. Like I'm a secret Grizzlies fan. I like Ja Morant a lot.
Me too.
I like that whole team, and I want Marcus Smart to win, even though I hate to see him go. But it is what it is. So I want to see them do well and get back to the playoffs. So I'm excited for that.
Next is the Sacramento Kings. That ceiling, I kind of had it first round. I think the Kings will make the playoffs. The problem is, I just feel like whoever they'll match up against, they might not have. I just don't know if they have enough. Like hypothetically speaking, say they get matched up against like the Nuggets or like the Thunder in the first round. I just feel like they're going home. They had DeMar DeRozan. Now the thing about it is, it's going to be interesting to see what Mike Brown does because they have 2 players who are good at the same thing, which is in DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. They both really good in clutch minutes. I don't know if they're gonna like play by committee. I know this is De'Aaron Fox team. Everybody knows that. I don't know if DeMar DeRozan would. I don't think he's the type of guy that challenge that. I just think he's a vet that's coming in and do his thing. De'Aaron Fox, he also said that he's not in a rush to sign an extension either. He said that he kind of want to see how the team shapes out over this next season. You remove Harrison Barnes, you bring in DeMar DeRozan. They got a guy in Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray could be the piece to unlock this team. I was looking at some numbers. In year 1, he shot 41% from 3. I think it was 6 attempts a game, and this past season he shot 35% off 6 attempts. So he kind of dipped like 6% in 3-point percentage. I feel like if he could take that step to like maybe 17, almost 18 points a game, they still got Sabonis there. They got a lot of young guys on that team too. I just don't know if they have like the firepower really. I feel like Keegan Murray can unlock a lot of this potential in the Sacramento Kings team because I actually do like the team a lot. But I just don't know if they have enough. I don't know if they have enough high end talent. I know that sounds crazy with players like De'Aaron Fox and like DeMontis Sabonis, but like I said, going up against like a Thunder, like a Shea, or like the Nuggets if Jamal Murray's healthy, and like the T-Wolves with AE and Jaden McDaniels, those guys are, Jaden McDaniels, he's a hog on defense. They do their thing over there in Minnesota, but I just don't know in Sacramento if they have enough for real. Yeah, it'd have to be a first round playoff appearance for me. I can't go no higher than that.
I think we kind of on the same page with this one. I don't see the DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox thing being too much of an issue. I think at this point, I think DeMar knows where he's at in the league and where his kind of position is. So he should just be that veteran presence and just kind of help those guys get better. And then with De'Aaron Fox, I'm glad that he's not kind of eager to sign that extension and he's ready to wait it out because ever since he's gotten to the league, all he's done is just prove people wrong. Just whether it be from like even in that 2017 draft and having guys like Lonzo and Markelle Fultz drafted before him and people kind of doubting what he could do in the league. So I think De'Aaron Fox, he's only shown improved since he's been here. The Kings, they didn't always have even a halfway decent roster. Now they do. Obviously you got Sabonis, who's a triple-double machine that they traded for. Keegan Murray, 6'8", he can shoot the 3. So it's just about those guys taking the next step. I want to see Sabonis become more of a consistent scorer. I don't want to see him with these single-digit scoring games and, like, these 10 to 12 points. He needs to be around like 20 to 23, I want to say. De'Aaron Fox, he's going to give you he can give you a good 25, 30 any night. DeMar DeRozan, he should be able to get you a cool 20. And then at that point, it's just about, having guys like Keegan Murray and just those other ancillary pieces just giving you a little bit more. We know the West is going to be tough. I could see them getting to the playoffs for sure. Play-in playoffs and possibly winning the first round series depending on the matchup and if they get on a little hot streak. It's going to be tough, but De'Aaron Fox, we've seen him. He can score in bunches, and with Sabonis, a guy who can play both sides of the court. He just he's kind of an agitator. He's a real tough guy. He kind of can get under the team's skin. So I want to see how DeRozan fits in with this squad. I don't want them to look like another Chicago. How Chicago looked with them, where it's just like, yeah, they're there and they made a playoff, but then they kind of tailor off and just become like this bottom of the barrel team. I want to see them do well. So hopefully, coach can get them right over there. Coach what's his name Mike, I can't remember
Mike
his name.
Brown.
Mike Brown. Coach Mike Brown, he's a good coach. So, he's got a lot of experience. He's been in some big playoff series. He's coached great players. So I think if anybody can get this roster right and get them to their full potential, it'll be him. But I will say it'll be interesting to see if after the season, if it doesn't go as planned, what Fox wants to do, because he's going to be a high commodity throughout the league. A lot of teams going to want him. So they gotta get it done now.
That's a crazy free agent. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, he's still relatively young too. But how old is he?
26, 27?
26. So kind of getting into his prime, maybe right now, maybe in the next year or two. So yeah, the Kings better do what they can to keep him around, because without him, it's gonna be dark days.
So I got the Phoenix Suns next. For some reason, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I must have been tired last night. I don't know. I kind of had a second round playoff appearance for their ceiling. I was really thinking last year, can we kind of just chalk it up to bad health? Kind of, and like,
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you have to? I mean, obviously they were planned to be a big three, and when the third of that big three is out for basically the whole season, that's a big blow to your team. They were already top heavy, and you take out one of those top guys, it just makes it even harder for you. So I think we can do that.
I like the Tyus Jones pickup. I like that a lot, actually. I think that's a quality point guard. I was looking at some numbers too. Grayson Allen, man, 46% from three on 5 attempts is insane. I don't know if he could. I don't know if he could duplicate that. That'd be quite impressive if he did. He'll get all the opportunities in the world playing with guys who draw so much attention on defense. It just really comes down to health. I feel like Kevin Durant had a pretty healthy season last year, and he had a play in the Olympics this summer. Devin Booker was there too, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like Bradley Beal, can he have like a redemption-esque type season? Can you come in and average like maybe 18 points a game, 19 points a game? I still believe in Bradley Beal. He just has some weird injuries over the past few seasons. Games played is like it just gets lower and lower and lower with that guy. He's untradeable. I don't even know if they'll explore that, but I don't think you can trade Bradley Beal at this point. But I guess it just comes down to health, to be honest with you. I'm not too crazy on the roster, even though they got some Monte Morris, Royce O'Neal, Tyus Jones, Bobo still managed to hang around some way somehow.
Hey man, no Bobo slander. That's my boy.
I love me some Bobo, man. I hope he can put it together, man. I love me some Bobo, but I feel like if they get the right matchup, I don't even know what the right matchup is, to be honest with you. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's just I don't know how I feel about them. I just feel like health is the first thing that we got to address. If they could just stay healthy, and then we kind of just see how we go after that. But I don't know. I just some just screaming second round about them.
Yeah. So for me, I'll go a step further with them. I can see them making it to a Western Conference Finals. Like you said, health is obviously the big what if and the big key in this whole situation. But Kevin Durant, to me, is still a top 7 player in the league. Devin Booker has become a great two-way player in the league, offense, defense. He shoots efficiently, and he can give you 70 on any given moment. Like he's that guy. Nurkic, I like him a lot with this team. It's just about, like I said, it's just about being cohesive and staying healthy. So it's really all comes down to Bradley Beal, because he's the one that's missing all the time and being the most inconsistent. So if you can even get him to give you just 17 a game, we know what KD and Booker are going to give you, especially with Book kind of playing more of that kind of point guard role with this team. Well, I mean, you got Tyus Jones now, but when I think for the majority when Book's in the game, he's going to be handling the ball. I trust him. He's shown me over the years how much he's grown in the league and just become such a good playmaker and just shooter, everything. I trust him with KD. It's just I got to get Bradley Beal to give me some quality time in this game. Like he's just been the biggest. I mean, he's obviously not a bust, but like since he's gotten traded from Washington, it's just non-existent. Like, and he was an all-star, like max contract player, so he's got to just get back to what he does best. So I can see them getting to the West Finals, and then once you get there, anything can happen. You know, obviously redemption is going to be on their mind if they're going against Minnesota. I don't think that friendship between KD and is going to really play too much of a part. I think they both want to take each other's heads off, so I can see that being a great series. But Yeah, the big what if is just the health for the Phoenix Suns. You know, when we saw them in stretches during the season, like when they had their guys and they played, it looked pretty good. Grayson Allen is shooting lights out. He's gonna, like you said, he's gonna get those same looks because they got too many good players over there. It's just a matter of just staying healthy and putting it all together. So I got them possible Western Conference Finals berth, and once they get there, when you got players like KD and Book, anything can happen.
Yeah, for the people that may see this and kind of think we just kind of going crazy a little bit, it just you can't help but look at the high end talent on this team. Like when you on paper, just like Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, that's some of the most high end talent you'll see on the NBA roster. So I just feel like talent triumphs all, especially like if these three can stay healthy. That's kind of why I will have high hopes for them in the redemption season. But if they fail to succeed my expectations or potential expectations, I wouldn't be surprised because the Western Conference, I just think it's going to be a gauntlet next season. So I could kind of see a scenario where they just have a lackluster season. I hope not, but
I mean, even if you go back to when that team first got formed, we had people saying like, "Oh man, it's not fair. This is automatic finals." Like, I mean, so we know what the potential is. It's just they gotta just be on the court. That's it. But yeah, we could see some fireworks for that team.
the Lakers. My ceiling is first round appearance. Depending on matchup, they could advance further. Uh, Running AD, I feel like they could potentially beat anybody if they're healthy. They had a great bill of health last season. Um, man, another year of that is it's a tough ask, especially because LeBron is turning 40 and AD. We all kind of know like his injury history isn't, he's I don't want to just say he's brittle, but he has an extensive injury history. Um, they got some questions with this roster. I kind of feel like Darvin Ham got a bad rap last year. It's starting to become to the point to where they just blaming the head coach on these rosters that you have real limitations on, like the D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves backcourt. I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest with you. I feel like Austin Reeves should be around him like more athletic guard defender. And speaking of Austin Reeves, I kind of feel like he's somebody. I feel like he was primed to have a breakout year last season. I don't know if we really saw it. I think Austin Reeves, he's pretty much in his prime. I feel like he has another step he could take. If he could be like a 17, 5-5 or 6-6 type of guy, I feel like that'll really benefit LeBron and AD. Is D'Lo would D'Lo be a Laker? You know what I'm saying? Are they gonna get a healthy season at a Vincent? What is Dog Connect? What is he gonna bring? Like now I got people saying Christian Wood. Why look out for him next season? Like I don't know. It's a lot going on with this roster, and you add in the JJ Redick factor too. Like I don't know. I don't really know what to do with the Lakers, to be honest with you, at this point in time.
Well, see, I think the problem for me with the Lakers is that over the past couple of seasons, like go from the last 3 seasons to now, like they were having too much of an overhaul of the roster. Like it was like the only constants really were like LeBron and AD. They were getting rid of everybody and bringing in a bunch of free agents. Then they did it again the next season. They went from like having like Russ and Christian Wood and these other guys. You move on from them, and then it's just like now you got D'Lo and Austin Reeves and Gabe Vincent, who didn't get to play too much, Jared Vanderbilt. So now I feel like they kind of kept a lot of those guys around for this season, like Rui Hachimura, those guys. So maybe they can kind of build upon that because, like you said, when they playing good basketball, it's tough for anybody to beat them. Like we saw that series that they had. Every game they played in that series, they were up against the Nuggets. They were leading those games, just kind of fell apart in crunch time. So they obviously have the potential to get through these series and maybe make it to a Western Conference Finals. But for me, I can see them getting to the second round. I don't think we see the final roster for this team. I don't think D-Love's going to be there. I think they're going to get rid of him and bring in whatever they can for him. I don't know who that'll be, but LeBron, obviously we got Bronny over there. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have this season. Probably G League for the most part, but yeah, I think AD is going to be like the focal point for the team this year. LeBron could still give 25 a night. I think it's going to all rest on AD. He was healthy last year, played a ton of games, so kudos to him. But it's just about getting the rest of that roster to kind of step up. Reeves, like you said, kind of getting into his prime. Vanderbilt on defense as a lockdown defender. Rui Hachimura, those guys. It's just Max Christie as well. He's supposed to be getting a lot of minutes this year. I guess they like what they see out of him. So we'll see. But it's the West. It's tough, and there's a lot of expectations with the Lakers. So we're gonna have to see. Obviously the Bronny aspect for the first week of the season is gonna kind of be the headline with them, but I think once that kind of blows by, we'll see what this roster is really planning on doing as far as like who's getting the minutes and what their play style is going to be. Because I don't want to see LeBron taking 10 threes a game again this season, even though he actually hit them at a ridiculous rate. But I don't want to see that. I think he still got the athleticism. I want to see him getting to the rack, drawing fouls, and increasing that free throw percentage, because that's what's going to get them. That's in the playoffs. That's what's going to make or break them, is just hitting those free throws and being consistent like that. And I think all that 3-point shooting's got to go out the window. So yeah, I got second round for the Lakers.
Second round, not bad. Next is the other team in LA, the Clippers, actually opening up a new arena. I got 8 seed. Same as first round. It kind of is like that's the ceiling though. Like that's it. 8 seed, first round out. That's kind of how I look at that. That's kind of how I wrote it. To be honest with you, I just wrote down they need a lot of things to go right. To be honest with you, it starts with Kawhi Leonard. Steve Ballmer they didn't really have a choice. They had to re-up on Kawhi going into this new arena. I feel like they didn't have a lot of avenues to really just turn the roster in something they hope it would be. The Paul George thing, it got real messy. I don't know how I feel about like the way it ended. I just feel like they could have gave him a bag. What other options did you really have? Now you got like a lot of role players. Like I told you, I could see a scenario where Kawhi's out and it's just James Harden with a lot of role players and just trying to make it work. I feel like they need a great season out of James Harden, like borderline all-star. They need the same from Kawhi. They need Kawhi to be an all-star. I feel like we need Prime Kawhi back, and I don't really know if we're gonna get it. To be honest with you, it's really a lot of pressure on the player who can't really stay on the court. Respectfully, yeah, I just feel like we could look up and see Ballmer just hands in his face for real. I feel like it's gonna get real bad. To be honest with you, it could get real bad in the Clippers.
Yeah, I will say, so the roster, I mean, initially I thought they were gonna be terrible. I will say the roster is not the worst on paper.
Not the worst.
The only issue is that, like you said, it's a bunch of role players, and you don't really know. Like, I don't know what I'm getting out of James Harden. I feel like I know what I'm going to get out of Kawhi, but I think that this team not being like a championship contender, I think he'll probably check out on this team and not even really give any effort. Like by the time we get to All-Star break, that's like my prediction for this team. So I can see them completely missing the playoffs. I don't think bringing in Kevin Porter Jr. is enough. Zubac's been there a while. I don't think that's gonna get it done. James Harden, if he can turn back the hands of time and look like Houston James Harden, then maybe you can carry this team. But I just don't see it. Getting Mo Bamba doesn't get the job. It's just they got like a lot of these guys, and it's like I don't see how this is gonna culminate into winning. I'm looking at the roster, and it's like I just don't see it. Like unless Kawhi and James Harden are both just playing out of their minds and just carrying this team night in and night out, I don't see it happening. And that's gonna be disappointing because, like you said, new arena, LA, and it was looking like for these past couple of years they were kind of surpassing the Lakers, but now it's just like all that has fell through, and now it's almost back to square one. Like once this don't work out, it really is gonna be back to square one and trying to rebuild this all over again, because Kawhi is kind of, as much as I love Kawhi, he's kind of showing you like, yo, if y'all ain't doing for me, if it ain't looking right for me, I'll have no problem just saying I'm a knee, I can't do this, and just being done with it. So as much as I hate to say it, I just think it's gonna be a train wreck for the Clippers. I got them missing the playoffs.
And it's sad because that arena, I'm hearing great things about that arena. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Next, the Rockets. Sneaky good, 8 seed potentially. One thing I had wrote with those guys, they need to kind of like, I feel like this is the season where they need to stamp their cornerstones, because I feel like it's a lot of young talent. And Ime and those guys on the front office, it's probably time to start trimming the fat on some of this roster. You got Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith, Tyree Eason, Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Alperen Sengun. They got Twin over there. They got Reed Shepard. It's a lot of young talent over there. I feel like everybody gets some burn just to kind of see how they can fill the roster out. But they did have a stretch during last season where he was like, okay, like we see the potential. They went on a nice little winning streak to wrap up the season. I feel like at best they could be a play into AFC for sure. They could be sneaky good. We got to see. I just feel like this is on two guys. I'm a Fred VanVleet fan. I know what I'm getting out of Fred VanVleet. Veteran point guard, real consistent. He could shoot. He could get to the paint. He could pass. Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun. I feel like those are your horses right there. I feel like if those guys could take the necessary leaps in their game, this could be a sneaky good team. Alperen Sengun. I became a fan last year. I know I'm late to the hype train. I really became a fan, and we all know Jalen Green is a nice, athletic, like mid-range kind of guy. Like I really like Jalen Green's game, real athlete. He may really has a lot of young talent over there with that roster. I feel like they could kind of be sneaky good, but I'm just kind of ready to see what they do with the roster though, if they'll keep everybody together.
No, see, for me, I'm really high on the Rockets. I got them for sure making the playoffs. I can see like six seed, maybe like being in that play-in. I got them like keeping that 6th spot. One, you got great coaching over there with Udonka. Obviously, he left the Celtics on bad terms, but
Yeah,
he's a great coach. He's gonna get those guys to play. Van Fleet is cool. The rookie Reed Shepard, I'm expecting him to come in and really set a tone. He can score it. He can shoot the ball. He's a dog. Cam Whitmore, who they drafted last year, I'm really high on him. I think he has a breakout season. Sengun is nice. I think he could be a potential all-star. Jalen Green is like, his time is now. This could be his coming out party. I just like this team is young. They're gonna be able to run with anybody. They got shooting. You got a big over there that can really be a. I mean, I want to say really a top 5 center. There's not really a ton of good centers outside of Jokic and Embiid. You got like Gobert, Wemby. I got him like right after those guys. He can really be that in my eyes. And then they just got a lot of even the other pieces, like you said, Tari Eason, Jeff Green, Dylan Brooks, who's a great defender and kind of getting the good players' heads and kind of his own weird way, kind of get that going. So I like the team a lot. Didn't need to say last year they had a good stretch, just barely missed out on them playoffs last year. I got them for sure getting in. I can see them getting a first round win, just because that team can play with a lot of pace, and
you said first round win.
Yeah, I can see them getting past the first round for sure. I'm high on the Rockets team, man. I like them a lot.
You think they could be one of the 4? You think they could be one of the 4?
You talking about like in the West Conference Finals?
Because what I'm saying is like with the seeding that they'll have, I'm assuming they'll play either the Mavs, Wolves, Thunder, or the Nuggets. You saying you think they could be one of those teams?
I think they can. Yeah, I think they can.
And it's the Mavericks, ain't it?
I can see. I mean, if I had to do like the matches, if I'm looking right now, I don't think that. I think if they matched up with the Nuggets, I think they could possibly get them out of there, just because it's a lot of like athletic guys it's a lot of athletic guys on the Rockets, and I just like if Murray's not really fully there, and I think a lot has to go wrong for the Nuggets and a lot has to go right for the Rockets. But I can see it like this Rockets team, man. I really believe that they can get some shit done. I'm high on them. I'm really high on them.
You think they could be Memphis?
I do. I think they could beat Memphis. Yeah. I like them a lot, man.
I love this team. They so inexperienced though. That's crazy.
Those seem to be the teams that are really doing. Like we just saw the OKC Thunder, who were inexperienced. They went from being an 8 seed the year before to a 1 seed and really making noise in the playoffs.
I mean, but you gotta remember though, a lot of people. I know you know this, but a lot of people don't remember. Like Shea got some playoff experience prior to becoming a Thunder. He was over there with like Pat Bev, Montrezl Harrell, and those Clippers teams that was going up against like the juggernaut in the Golden State Warriors. He had already had playoff experience. So like him coming over, he's the young vet. He like 25, 26, and he like the OG over there. I feel like they leader had playoff experience, but I didn't know you was that home Houston. That's kind of I
like him. I think Jalen Green is about to be a superstar after this season. I'm really high on them. I think they're gonna have a real good season. I think it's gonna be real. I think when you got that youth, that combination of like youth with also some good veterans like Fred VanVleet, I just think it's like a lot of teams like they see them as like a nightmare because those guys get in there and they just flying. And I think with they coach, he gonna coach them up and have them right, man. Like I really like this team. I really like it a lot. So don't be surprised.
I'm paying close attention on next year. So next we got the Pelicans, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I apologize for the viewers. I'm not yet decided. I really don't know because I feel like the ceiling is super high with this team. If they could kind of figure the roster out, they don't have a center. That's one of the red flags. They don't have a real NBA center. That's kind of one of my concerns. The other concern is like CJ, DeJounte, BI. They need to is it Trey Jones? They need to sign him. I really feel like the ceiling is. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Dejounte CJ parent. I really thought they was gonna do away with CJ. Respectfully, I just don't. I have to see that. I have to see that backcourt together. And the BI, this Brandon Ingram situation is starting to get a little messy. And I don't know if he'll be gone before training camp. So I kind of doubt it. I feel like the roster is going to be as is. I don't know what center they can pick up. I feel like that position is kind of getting thin in the NBA right about. And as far as like quality centers, it's not a lot of guys you could just go out there and like just go get for real. How you feel about the Pelicans?
They probably one of the tougher teams to evaluate just because they got a lot of question marks. Obviously, is Zion gonna be healthy and play? Brandon Ingram, is he gonna be there? I think they probably start the season and have him there and just kind of see how that team meshes. But you got McCollum, who's kind of older in age. He's pretty much the veteran. Trey Murphy, who I like a lot. He can shoot it. He's athletic. He shot at a high clip last year, so I like him a lot. But yeah, outside they don't really have too many like other pieces that can really like that for a championship team or for a good team that really can get you there. Like Alvarado, he's a cool point guard. Um, DeJounte Murray, I don't know what to expect from him. Obviously the thing in Atlanta didn't work out. It was kind of disappointing. So I don't know. This team is tough to evaluate. Obviously you got a superstar in Zion, but other than that, I'm not really too big on them. I could see them maybe squeaking into the playoffs, getting into that play in. Stealing, I guess for stealing, that might be it for me. First round right now. I gotta see this team play together. But like on paper, comparing to the rest of the West, I'm not too high on them. I don't know. They tough because I want them to be good because I really like Zion. I like Brandon Ingram, but it ain't happened for them yet. And I don't know. That's to me, they're the toughest team to evaluate out of all of them. I don't know what to expect from them.
Next, I got Golden State. Yeah, like first round. I don't know what seed. To be honest with you, I don't want to do Curry like that. I want to be realistic, but I kind of want to show respect. Um, I feel like this is a season where Curry could look up and it could just be all bad. I do like the Buddy Hield and who else was that they picked up? It was Melton, the Anthony Melton. I do like those two guys. I believe they picked up Kyle Anderson as well. Like I said, I feel like Jonathan Kaminga and Brandon Pajemski. I feel like those are two players who they have a lot to do with the success of the Golden State Warriors this year. We know we're getting out of Steph and Draymond. I'm not really worried about those guys. You kind of pencil them in to have good seasons, but it's just kind of like you said, like the ancillary pieces around the roster. We'll kind of see what Steve Kerr does with those guys. I like Pods a lot. I think Pods is pretty good, but Kaminga is really the guy that I'm gonna really be watching him next season to kind of see what next leap that he makes. Can he be like borderline all-star ish type, like maybe 23 points per game? I kind of feel like other than Curry, he's kind of the other player that's kind of got like high end type of talent on this team.
Yeah.
How you feel about them going into the next season?
I'm actually optimistic for the Warriors coming into this. I think we'll get a better season out of Andrew Wiggins. I think we haven't seen the last of him. Curry's gonna be. I think Steph's gonna be Steph. We know he's gonna give you. Draymond. I think they kind of all in on this being like that last like that final push.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Hield is gonna be a good replacement for Klay Thompson. Obviously, he can shoot that 40 plus percentage from three. And then, like I said, Podzimski and Kuminga, I think are the two young gunners. I think they can really get it done. They had promising seasons. Obviously, Kuminga wanted to do more. He didn't get as much of an opportunity as he would have liked. But I think everything's indicating that they plan on going all in with him this season. So this is where we really get to see, like, is he really that guy that a lot of the fans feel like he is, or a lot of like the NBA analysts feel like he could be, like that real like double, 20-something points, 10 to 12 rebounds, super athletic guy that we expect him to be. So I think he is going to be that guy, and I think he's going to be a great compliment to Steph.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, not for nothing, is not too bad shooting from range. So I think he'll be able to be a 3-level scorer and really like take over some games. So I'm expecting them to be in the playoffs. I can see them getting to the second round, and then we'll see how the team meshes. But with Steph, out of all players in the NBA, anything is possible because that dude, That dude got limitless range. And I forgot Moses Moody as well. He's still over there. He's had some good
Yeah.
minutes. So Kevon Looney, we're just gonna give you those rebounds and that just tough interior defense. So they still got a lot of that core still there. They still playing decent. I think last year obviously was a letdown for them, but I can see this team getting to that second round and maybe possibly trying to upset somebody. It's just like I said, I keep saying the West is so tough, so it's gonna be they got an uphill battle, but I kind of like this roster a lot. They got a lot of continuity, and I think they can get it done. I think they really can get it done. Kyle Anderson is an underrated pickup as well. He's a smart player. So.
See, I kind of think that's where I get off the train that you on, and I kind of like hit the train station and go somewhere else with the destination, because I kind of feel like they'll fizzle out in the front. I just don't think they could be anybody at the top of the West. But I do want to show respect because like Luka, Jokic, and Curry, those are guys that if they just on the court, anything can happen, and they could kind of turn the tide of a series. So you are right. The last team, San Antonio Spurs. When I say last team, I know it's two teams left. But to be honest with you, the Blazers, I know the Jazz this is Cooper Flag territory, in my personal opinion. The Trailblazers, I don't know if they'll give me anything. I'm pretty sure they'll be trading Jeremy Grant at some point in the season. I'm just not high on either of those teams, and especially wherever Danny Ainge is at, tanking is taking place respectfully. If not tanking, trying to acquire some picks, you know what it is. But I think Wemby got a taste of like NBA talent as far as like from a competition standpoint, and he lost a lot of games. I feel like that mentality is like it's a no-go, and I feel like we'll probably start seeing that this season. I just feel like he's a winner. He wants to commit to winning, be a part of winning rosters, organizations, which is the Spurs. This is the most stable place that he could have landed, in my personal opinion. Greg Popovich, legendary coach. You got guys like Parker Ginobili, Duncan Robinson. I'm pretty sure they're at his disposal for any type of advice. And I do like them bringing in Chris Paul. I think that'll be very beneficial to Victor Wembanyama with all the experience that Chris Paul has up until this point. I feel like he can give a lot of game on and off the court to Wemby. Harrison Barnes, stable small forward. They got a lot of young talent. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle. I kind of wanted them to pick Reed Shepard. That's just my personal opinion, but I think Stephon Castle, I think that's a great pickup for them. Jeremy Sohan, Zach Collins. They got a lot of young guys over there. But unfortunately, I think play-in is kind of where Wemby taps out. Maybe he'll pushes them even further into a playoff spot. You never know. I don't know. In my personal opinion, when it comes to Wemby, I'm not limiting my opinions. Even though I just said they'll make the play-in, but I'm kind of being optimistic about where this can ultimately go at the end. So how you feel?
Yeah, I think this team, I think I'm agreeing with you, borderline like play-in team. And it really I don't even think it depends on Wemby, because I think we all know Wemby's gonna take the next step, and like coming off that rookie year, he's gonna build on it.
Right.
It's really about those other young guys. Are they gonna take that next step? Obviously, like you said, bringing in Chris Paul helps a lot, not only for Wemby, but for Castle being a young guard in the NBA, and just for teams, like just for players in general, having a veteran that can just kind of show you the way. Obviously, he's not a long-term solution, but he's just like a bridge player to kind of help teach those guys, help out Greg Popovich, and just kind of move the process along. Wemby's gonna be an all-star, all-NBA player. We know that, but it's all about like, what about Vassell? What about Champagne? What about all these other guys? I like Malachi Branham as well. I liked him a lot. He didn't get a lot of play time this last season, but when I see him play, I like what I see out of him. So it's just about, are those other guys going to be able to get it done? And if not, are you going to bring in somebody else who can maybe help get it done? Because the roster is super young. So kind of similar to the Rockets, really young. They'll be able to kind of get up and down with teams and like a lot of energy. But it's just about complimenting Wemby and just kind of getting to that next step, which is tough. Obviously, it's the West. And there's a lot of pieces who you don't even know if they're going to really get any playing time. Harrison Barnes, he should be able to get some minutes in there, but a lot of young players who will be fighting for minutes. So we don't know what that lineup is going to look like come December, even up to the All-Star break. A lot of players going to be fighting for those minutes, and I think it's a lot of good options over there. So it'll be a good competition. But yeah, I can see them possibly getting into that play-in, but I think like a first-round exit is probably what they're going to be getting hit with, just because that top four in the West is going to be, I don't know if I can see them beating them or sneaking the series away from one of those teams.
Man, 54 minutes. We went. That was the dope one. I don't think the Eastern Conference will be 54 minutes, respectfully.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll be able to like break down the teams that we feel like that will compete. Cause I feel like along with the Blazers and the Jazz, they have a longer list of teams I feel like just won't be in contention at all. And we'll get into that. But man, like, subscribe if y'all want to, man. I really appreciate all the support we've been getting. Shout out to Queso. He's been showing up for me, man. He very accessible. Uh, shout out to B Mill. He'll be coming along soon once he gets his setup going. So I really got big hopes for this next basketball season. We'll be able to get some good minds in here and break down some good basketball for y'all. But as for tonight, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna have the Eastern. We're gonna get the Eastern Conference ceilings out before the week is out. So yeah, y'all have a blessed night. Peace.